Welcome to the class. Today we will talk about diphthongs and semi-vowels in English. These two terms, diphthongs and semi-vowels, they refer to two different types of sounds in English. We know there are sounds like consonants and vowels. If you look at English sound system, English has total 44 sounds, out of which 24 of them are consonant sounds and 20 of them are vowel sounds. When we go into the details of that classification, then we find among vowels, that is among 20 vowels, there are some vowels which are called diphthongs. And among consonants, there are 2 in particular and 3 in total sounds which are called semi-vowels. Keep in mind, semi-vowels are consonants, and we are going to see and look at the details of those sounds and how they function. This is what we know as 44 sounds of English. In that, the first 20 sounds are vowel sounds. And let's take a moment here to understand that. So, those sounds are E, as in read, sit. This E sound is shorter than the previous one, as in sit. And likewise, you see all of them. So this is a short U. So in a word like book, and when we say a word to, then you have longer U. Then here is what I want to draw your attention to. So then we have A as in men, A as in America, this shorter A sound, A as in America, and then you have O as in word, and sword. This is another sound. Now, I want to draw your attention to some of these sounds which are called diphthongs, and I'll talk about them in details again. However, so look at this. Ear, here. So this one, A as in day, U as in tour, Oi as in boy, and O as in go. These are diphthong sounds in English, which are called diphthong vowels. So if you see, if you want to go by classification, you can see that some are monophthongs vowels and some are diphthongs vowels. Diphthong vowels simply mean a sound which starts with one vowel but ends with another. That vowel is called diphthong. We will look at the details of that. Now, among the consonant sounds, you have these 24 sounds as consonants. Look at the last 3, R, W, and Y. The classification of these consonant sounds is interesting to know, and for complete understanding of the sounds that become so specific and so particular to help improve our pronunciation, help improve how we speak, how we understand, and so much more. It is important to know these sounds in details, and therefore we are spending this time on explaining particular types of sounds to you so that it helps you better. One more time. Being familiar with the sounds of the language we want to focus on and improve is fundamental for improving our language. Knowing the sounds in terms of their places of articulations and manners of articulations helps us immensely in improving our language. With these two fundamental principles, we work on it and we move further to explain these sounds to you. So, ra is a sound, one type of sound, and wa and ya, they form one category. So, wa and ya are particularly known as semi-vowels. You may have a question in your mind, these are consonant sounds. So why are they called semi-vowels? The reason is very simple, they are consonant sounds, but they function more like a vowel. Therefore, they are called semi-vowel. And I'll explain what I mean when I say they function like vowels. They help vowels. Therefore, they are called semi-vowels. Why not semi-consonants? That's not an important question for us because they are consonants, they are full consonants. So, they cannot be called semi-consonants. They are called semi-vowels because they help vowels. They function like vowels. Again, third question for the sake of an argument, why if they function like vowels, then why not full vowels? They are not full vowels because you will learn it later in the course that vowel sounds are fundamental for syllabification. Allow me a moment here to tell you. Syllable is a smaller unit of a word. Some words are monosyllabic. That is, even one syllable can be a full word. A word can have more than one syllable. So when we want to understand words in details, so moving from sounds to words, it is helpful to understand syllables. And one specific thing that we must know about a syllable is every syllable must have a vowel sound in it. Therefore, vowels are also called syllabic sounds. Now, coming back to semi-vowels are not syllabic. Therefore, they cannot be full vowels. Hope this makes sense to you. Now, we start with diphthongs and then we will go to semi-vowels in this class. So, these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them are diphthongs vowels in English. So, you can clearly see the distinction that 12 of them are monophthongs. That is, they have only one vowel quality. That is, they start with one and end with one. These 8 of them start with one, end with the other. And therefore, they are called diphthongs. What do we mean when we say start with one and end with the other? Look at this. This one, A, starts with A and ends with E. Now, when we talk about these sounds in isolation, we can also say if they look like combinations of two different vowel sounds, then why don't we take them as two different vowel sounds? Actually, they are not two different vowel sounds when we say them, when we speak them in flow, in a word. So they form a special category. Let's take it as given. And there are 8 of them. So first one is A, as in, how do we pronounce this word? Take. Take. This paying attention to these sounds will help you improve your pronunciation. We can say take. Take. Now, we can reach that pronunciation only when we know that the vowel sound here is A, take. I, buy. I, by as in by, and oi as in boy, ear as in fear, air as in care, o as in go, ur as in poor, ow as in cow. So if you write the phonetic transcription of these words that are given here, this is how it becomes. So you have ta, a, and ka. So there are three sounds in this word: consonant, vowel, and consonant. Only three sounds. And this ta also becomes little aspirated. You will get to learn that further. So it's pronounced as take. Three consonants, three sounds in this word: ta, e, and a, and ka. Take. By, you have ba, I, by. Boy, ba, o, and e. This is the phonetic transcription of boy. So when you write words with their phonetic transcriptions and identifying sounds, that is the process to help improve our pronunciation. Fear. So we have sound fa, e, and a. Fear. Care. Ka, a, ear, and ra. Care. So likewise, I suggest you do the transcription of these words and more to find these 8 sounds. Important part: 8 diphthongs and 12 monophthongs. This is the classification of vowels, vowel sounds in English. That is further classification. So at one level, to conclude this part, at one level we have seen all sounds being classified in 2 parts: consonants and vowels, 20 vowels. When we look further, we see 12 monophthongs, 8 diphthongs. These are the 8 diphthongs. This is how they sound, and this is how they appear in words. At this stage, one suggestion for you, for your exercises to understand it further: please find these sounds in more words that we speak. You can take help online. You can read a word and identify sounds in them, and you will get to see these sounds as well. So diphthongs are sounds. This is what we conclude with, which consist of a movement of a glide from one vowel to another. That is, starts as one, ends with the other. This process is known as glide. So in other words, is pronounced by combining 2 vowel sounds. It sounds that way when we speak it, but they are one, gliding from one to the other. The first sound in the combination is articulated longer and stronger than the second one. So you have seen 8 diphthongs, and this is what they are, and see more examples of them. So take, you have already seen. High. Boy, you have seen. Slow. Bowl, pierce, jury, pair. All these words, when you practice further, take more words and practice them, you will get to see these vowel sounds. You will also need to practice the distinction between monophthongs and diphthongs for better understanding of syllabification and your pronunciation. Now, we move to semi-vowels in this class. There are two sounds. They are wa and ya. They are called semi-vowels in English. There is no blockage of an air in articulation of wa and ya. Remember, we discussed in the beginning, why are they called semi-vowels? One more reason why they are called semi-vowels and why they appear like a vowel. If you look at places of articulations and the way we articulate a consonant sound, consonant sounds are always produced with obstruction in the vocal tract. As you understand, exhaling flow of air is responsible for producing speech sounds. And at different places in our oral cavity, in the entire vocal tract, the flow is stopped and modified in various ways, which give us different consonant sounds. This obstruction is important for consonant sounds. For a semi-vowel, which is known as a consonant, there is no obstruction. They are produced like vowels, that is without or very little obstruction. This is what we mean when we say there is no blockage of air in articulation of wa and ya, thus giving a vowel-like quality. However, wa and ya are non-syllabic. We discussed they can be part of a word, but for that word to be a syllable, we need another vowel sound in that. Mere presence of either one of the two will not constitute a syllable. Now, when we try to see some words with wa, let's look at this. Well, world, twin, sweet, acquire with wa. With ya sound, you have words like yesterday, intrusion, beauty, steward, few. Now, important point to note here, remember, these are sounds. So, and they are written this way with these symbols. But these sounds appear in words not always when we spell a word with these symbols. So, in some words they do, like well, you see being spelled with W. World, you see the same thing happening. Twin, you see wa coming in the middle of the word, not in the initial position. But look at this sweet. You do have a wa sound here in this word, but there is no W. Acquire. Here you see ka and wa sound in this word, but there is no W. There are more words like questions, question. Here also you have ka and wa. So there are so many words where you do have a wa sound, that is a semi-vowel. Same way, when ya sound appears in a word, it may appear with y as a symbol, but it may not appear as well in the word like intrusion. Look at this here. In fact, in terms of a phonetic transcription, this is how ya sound is written. So in this you will see a ya sound here. In beauty also you see ya sound. In steward also you see ya sound. And few, of course, there is ya sound. You can have more words of this type to check where you get ya sound with y or not. Another important point about semi-vowels is that these semi-vowels, that is ya and wa, they may occur in a word, but they do not occur at a final position. That is, these sounds will never come at the word final position. Somebody can come up with counter examples of this statement that semi-vowels do not occur in a final position. Somebody can say, look at this word window. There is a W at the end of this. Cow, there is a W at the end of it. Happy, there is Y sound at the end of it. There is Y and Monday. There are many words where you have a word ending with Y. The question is not whether they end with W or Y in their spelling. If you have understood, you do not need explanation further that we are not talking about spelling of a word, we are talking about sounds. And in these words also, there is no semi-vowel sound at the end of these words. So in the word window, you have a diphthongs. Diphthong. Cow, you have a and u. O and u in window. Happy, you have E sound. Monday, you have this diphthong, not semi-vowels. So they do not, these two sounds are not in the final position of these words. Then, so this is the introduction of semi-vowels. So you know so many things about semi-vowels now. You know what those sounds are. You know the distinction between sound and spelling. You know that they do not occur in the final position of a word. You know that they are not syllabic because for making a syllable they need another vowel, and therefore they are called vowel sounds, semi-vowel sounds, not full vowels. For their production, they can be produced without much obstruction in the oral tract, but and therefore they sound like a vowel, and still, because they are non-syllabic, they are called semi-vowels. So you know so many things about vowels. Now is the time for you to know where is it used and what is its function in the language. Here I need your attention. When you say these, I have few phrases written here on this slide. When you say these words, pay attention to what's happening, and I am referring to how these things will be spoken or how these things are spoken by speakers of English who grew up speaking English. So look at this, go away, go away. Now, in all these words, I am going to underline some parts. I am late. Say it. Buy it. Put your shoe on. Blue is my favorite color. 3 years. When you pay attention to these underlined parts of these phrases or sentences, you will realize that these phrases and sentences, one word ends with a vowel sound and the following word begins with a vowel sound. Check that. Go ends with a vowel sound and away begins with a vowel sound. So, when you have this situation, I is a vowel sound and am also has a vowel sound in the beginning of it. Say has a vowel sound at the end of say, and it has a vowel sound in the beginning of it. Shoe on. Shoe has a vowel sound at the end of the word, and on has a vowel sound in the beginning of the word. Blue is. Blue has a vowel sound at the end of the word, and is has a vowel sound in the beginning of a word. And 3 has a vowel sound at the end of it, and ears has a vowel sound in the beginning of it. This is what we mean when I am asking you to pay attention to these things. Now, in a normal, regular spoken language, there is a period of transition in these two words. So, to help the transition from one vowel to the other, there is a semi-vowel inserted in each one of these instances. And when you find it out, you will see that this is the actual function of semi-vowels. So when we say go away, there between the two, there appears to be a wa sound. I am late. I am late. So see, when we hear this in regular speech, fast speech, there is a ya sound between I and I am. There is a ya sound in between. Say it. Say it. Before E, you have ya sound again. Same thing, buy it. Put your shoe on. So it sounds like shoe one. So there is a W sound, wa sound here. Blue is, in this case, ya sound. And 3 years, of course, ya sound. So this is a function of a semi-vowel where in the fast speech or normal regular speech, for transition between two vowel sounds which belong to two different words, we see the appearance of a specific sound, and they are either one of the two semi-vowels, ya and wa. Now, if you go into further details, you will see the distribution of ya and wa is also not random. When you have a rounded vowel, you have wa sound, and otherwise you have ya sound. So the distribution of ya and wa is also fully patterned. There is a rule for why a wa sound must come and why a ya sound must come. But the function is to help the transition between two vowel sounds belonging to two different words. This is one of the most important functions of semi-vowel. This happens in other languages as well, but here we are specifically discussing some examples of English. Now again, I recommend you, we did some examples, I recommend you to look at some more words, phrases, sentences, and pay attention to that. When you listen to people speak English, particularly speakers of English, those who grew up speaking English, you will notice these things. And an understanding of semi-vowels in this fashion will help you understand others make sense faster and more carefully. When you hear others, it won't sound like you did not understand what they said. These are the things we need to pay attention to. Again, I stop it by telling you a careful understanding of these sounds, this information, that is the information about diphthongs, types of vowels, and semi-vowels, will help you improve not only your pronunciation, that is not only how you speak, but also understanding how others speak. With that, we stop here. See you next time with some other information. Thank you.